One of the most familiar native trees in North America is the flowering dogwood, Benthamidia florida, which is common across much of eastern North America in woodlands and scrublands. In addition to growing in the wild, the flowering dogwood is also popular in the horticulture trade, and several cultivars have been developed, and it has become a popular landscape tree. But is the flowering dogwood the best tree for your yard? Let's find out. As I mentioned, flowering dogwood naturally grows in woodlands and scrubland plant communities and will tolerate partial shade to full sun in a wide variety of average, well-drained, slightly acidic soils. It is a highly adaptable small tree that will grow to be 15 to 25 feet tall with a 15 to 30 foot spread. A quick note about the size and growth habit of flowering dogwood. Although it can tolerate partial shade, it is going to have the best form and maximum flower and fruit production if it gets at least half a day of sun. When too shaded, flowering dogwood tends to reach for the light and grows tall and thin with scraggly, thin branches. Basically, if it is in too much shade, it will be more pathetic looking than Charlie Brown's Christmas tree. If you plant one, make sure it is getting enough light, so it will have a nice rounded, full form that will be covered in blooms in the spring and fruits in the fall. Flowering dogwoods receiving plenty of light also tend to top out around 12 to 15 feet tall with a little larger spread. Basically, if you plant them where they can get enough sunlight, flowering dogwoods will grow into happy little trees. Another advantage of planting flowering dogwood where it receives enough sunlight is one of disease prevention. Flowering dogwood is quite susceptible to dogwood anthracnose, a fungal disease that requires moist, humid conditions. Planting flowering dogwood in somewhat sunny locations with good drainage can help keep this disease at bay. If you would like to see a video highlighting dogwood anthracnose, please let me know down in the comments. If you love the showy blooms of flowering dogwood, be sure to pollinate that like button. The large, showy, white to sometimes pink tinged blooms for which the flowering dogwood is named appear in early spring, from March to June depending on location. Fun fact, the showy white petals of the flowering dogwood blooms aren't petals, but are in fact modified leaves called bracts. The actual flowers are the yellowish-white bump-like structures in the center of the bracts. Attractive green leaves appear after the flowers and add interest over the summer as clusters of football-shaped green fruits form and turn a brilliant red as they ripen in the fall from August through October. The fruits will persist until knocked off by the wind or eaten by wildlife. They create great visual effect against the eye-catching red to reddish-purple fall foliage. Flowering dogwood is an excellent tree for wildlife, and the fruits are eaten by a wide variety of songbirds, including those backyard favorites, eastern bluebirds and the super cool cedar waxwings. Gamebirds such as wild turkey, ruffed grouse, and northern bobwhite also feed on the fruits. Birds will nest on the horizontal branches and use the tree for escape and roosting cover. Mammals also eat the fruits, and they are a hit with larger critters like deer and even bears to the smaller critters like chipmunks and squirrels. Deer will browse the young leaves and twigs, so protect newly planted trees accordingly. As the trees mature, they become less palatable and can withstand the small amount of nibbling deer may do. Flowering dogwood is just as good for pollinators. While butterflies and moths aren't highly attracted to the flowers, they will visit them some. The real value of flowering dogwood to butterflies and moths comes from it being a host plant for up to 98 species of caterpillars, including those of the spring azure butterfly and the Cecropia silk moth. The flowers are visited by several species of pollen specialist mining bees in the genus Anthracnose, and many other species of native bees and honeybees. If you are looking for a small native specimen tree for your yard that has four-season interest and is a powerhouse for pollinators, songbirds, and wildlife, the flowering dogwood is a great choice. But maybe you have a larger space you want to create some thicket cover in, or you are wanting a hedge to block the view of your neighbor's sterile turfgrass desert. If so, one of the shrub dogwoods in the genus Swida may be what you need. And you can learn all about them in this video, and be sure to get out and explore nature in your backyard.